All right, folks, here we are in St. Johns County. Just showed up ready to unload our ballast material. Wanted to show you Steven's collection here. Chief among them all is the 445 that I used to own. Here she is. With the 40 loader, a 60-inch deck, rear PTO, and 3-point hitch.
All can be yours for $10,000.
Yeah, right, $10,000. I want to show you the rest of his collection here. He's got a 332, very primo. Such nice wheel weights from one of your good buddies. How many does this one have on it? How many hours?
600.
600 hours on this. Fine example of, I believe, early 90s John Deere. I think this was the early 90s. What year was it, Steven?
That's a 90.
It's a 90, okay. A 90. And then this is what we're switching a lot of that equipment over to. The 455. He's done a little bit of painting on it. We're trying to break these loose. These things are somewhat seized. Trying to get that squared away. But this one has 431 hours on it. So we're switching everything but the rear PTO over today, I think. And he's got a 211 hour 332 in completely stock condition with a 50-inch deck. I believe that's a 50-inch deck. And then he also has a 330 that he's doing some work on. He actually has a 420, 430 rear end in there with the traction lock, which is what that bar is for, and 2-speed gear shift. So it's a two range, high and low. Try to keep getting him to put the H3 hydraulic kit on there too, but he's resistant. So anyway, that's his collection, and we'll get started on the rest of the stuff here shortly. So this is the beginning of the lift test for the 445 before we switch all the goodies to his keeper, which is going to be the 455. So here we're just doing a quick pressure test to see what it's coming in at. The system is supposed to be rated stock at 1000 psi, the hydraulic system. So I had shimmed the valve on this one, so it was getting 1150. Here it says 1200. I'm not sure if something was up with the gauge or we were doing something a little different, but it did specifically say 1150 before, and now it's 1200. So that's what we're sitting at. So it is above the stock setting. And somebody had mentioned in one of the forums that these could lift about 450 pounds. So we started only at 447 pounds, and then we worked up from there, and which was fine. Of course, it made this lift test a little bit longer. Now, we did add a good chunk there, but I didn't have a bunch of weight to add each time. I probably should have thrown 2 suitcase weights in at a time instead of doing one. I just didn't think it would lift that much. But as you'll see, it continues lifting everything we basically throw at it. And I'll just kind of give you a little spoiler alert if you want to go forward a minute or two, is it ends up lifting right around 800 pounds. In fact, we ran out of the weights and had to use the middle buster as the final weight, which I'm going to guess was probably around 30 or 40 pounds. And I guess what I would say about this is that I had never lifted anything like this when I had it. I had lifted a tiller, a hydraulic tiller, a box blade. I'd actually lifted a 360 pound bush hog at one time, and these were, none of them were over 400 pounds. So what you're seeing here is 685 pounds, pretty good chunk of weight I can't imagine that somebody would lift more than that on a routine basis with one of these tractors. I think it goes to show you that John Deere just builds a fantastic tractor too. You know, these are garden tractors, very, very capable, excellent series, and I think they're just great tractors and obviously tons of capability. Now, of course, you can't lift that kind of weight off the front end. The loader definitely has a lot less lifting capacity, which is probably good. You probably have people rolling their garden tractors all the time if that were the case, if you could lift, you know, that amount of weight with a loader. And we'll get into that in just a minute here. We're going to do a lift test on the loader. So here I was doing the best I could to try to get a couple different types of numbers. A lot of times the manufacturers use at the pin, full lift height, half lift height, or, you know, halfway up. They do things with you know, like bucket extended, you know, like I think it's like 500 millimeters or something like that. Anyways, it's kind of like, it's almost like an NFL quarterback rating, the way they do it. You know, they have all these numbers, they throw all these numbers at you, and then you're supposed to figure out if the capability is there. And certainly a lot of other YouTube folks have done lift tests on probably these tractors, or at least other tractors and stuff, that you can kind of get an idea of. So as you can see, these things lifted anywhere from, you know, 392 pounds at 49 inches, and that was at the pin. I think the level bucket was 37 inches level. All the way up, it was 252 pounds, but that was fully curled. And I think it lifted 322 at full height and curled as well. So during this test, we had 412 pounds in the ballast box, including the ballast box. So we were, you know, balanced as far as what we were lifting. So that's one of the things you want to do when you get a loader. You need to immediately get some ballast, whether it's this kind of tractor, a garden tractor, whether it's a subcompact tractor or even a compact tractor. You need to make sure that you have weight on the back, whether it's in the tires, on wheel weights, a ballast box, another attachment that's going to give you the heft that you need to balance out the load. Because when a bucket's real high, it's going to make the tractor very unstable. In fact, the best thing you can do if it does get unstable is to just drop the boom down, and hopefully you're not dropping it on anything you shouldn't drop it on, but that's probably better than rolling the tractor. I have not rolled a tractor yet. I have had this tractor up probably on 3 wheels once or twice, and probably my 1023E probably have also had it up on 3 wheels a couple times as well, and it's a little scary, but that's the first thing, that the automatic thing you do is to drop the boom. So hopefully these numbers give some indication about the capability of this tractor. I mean, I love this tractor. It was a great tractor. I'm sure it'll be great for somebody else, and maybe Steven will make some use of this loader. I certainly used it a lot. In fact, I think once you get a loader, you realize how useful they are. And obviously this is not the safest thing I'm doing, especially with an inexperienced operator on a loader, is standing between my truck and the bucket while he's in the operator's seat. So if anybody wants to point that out, yes, I probably could have designed that a little bit better and been a little more safe, but he didn't, you know, gut me into the tailgate, so that was good. I didn't really realize that until I was watching the video and doing some editing on it. So anyway, hopefully these numbers have been helpful in understanding the capability of them. Here we're just demonstrating how you can do a quick park on the loader. It has this little release, and he didn't get it quite released there. Again, this is his first time on the loader, really, you know, going through the motions with it and stuff. There he detaches the clip on the frame, so he's able to back out. And you can see how easy this thing is to quick park. It's basically as easy to quick park as my 1023E. Now, as you'll see a little bit later, the hydraulic lines are a little bit more difficult to get to on this tractor versus my 1023E. The 1023E is very easy to handle. And so we're going to try to get these across. Of course, we're going back and forth, you know, jawing at each other sometimes. Then I make fun of him right about here because he tries to go backwards, and then for some reason he hits the go forward button and smacks right into the loader. So that was kind of funny. I got my kind of jabs in there, but he's pointing out there's a nick in the line on the loader, but it's not that. It's just the outer layer of the hydraulic lines. So I eventually get these disconnected. We did switch over those hydraulic couplers to his 455, so he may get new ones for this one or some used ones or something, so that's usable when he sells it. I don't know what he's going to do about that, and I have a difficulty. We're trying to release some pressure on the loader to get these lines off because they're tight as possible, and that's what you have to do sometimes when you're trying to get quick connect couplers off. You sometimes have to release some pressure in the line before it'll easily slip off. So that's just something you got to keep in mind. I had to figure that out myself, you know, over and over. I'm like, why won't this thing come apart? And then you release some of the pressure in it, they come right off for the most part. You want to be careful too that with the hydraulic pressure can be, you know, very harmful. So you just want to be careful of that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And at the end, there's going to be some links to the other things that we did today, and then also we did another video the following week with the switch over to the rear PTO. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like it, please hit the subscribe button. And I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks. Bye.